It's an interesting conversation that I've had with the city of University Park. Park. It's ranged from the Highland Park saying, well, we don't see any reasons that we would not let you have the parade, to University Park saying, well, why don't we do Gore Park too? So we're still negotiating. There's concerns, especially as Gar just showed with having us mask up for singing, et cetera. We've expressed as a board our concern that we think the nice compromise position is to have the parade where people can space out as they wish and or watch the live stream. But Gore Park, with the 5,000 people that are normally there, might be a little much for this year. And then we'll reinstitute it next. So that part is still up in the air. However, there's going to be lots of volunteer opportunities, as there always are. Before the parade, during the parade, after the parade, we've got a core group of Sarah Ollier and Jill Jordan and Paul Pyrock and San Wright that are we're dividing up the work, and they're going to be in charge. I'll shortly be posting various volunteer opportunities that I'll be kicking into gear pretty shortly. So with that, I'll turn it back to Barb. Stay tuned, I guess.
It's great. Thank you so much, Philip. He wears many hats and has for many years, and we certainly appreciate all the time that you spend helping the club become better. We do, looking around the room, and I just got a signal from Lori, that have been reserved, but the members were not able to show up. And so if there are any of our non-eaters in the room would like, it looks really good, looks like asparagus and chicken parmesan or chicken something. There is one, I'm not sure, one at this table and two at that table. No. Now I'm getting a no. I'm sorry, what? Oh, so we have two. We have two. All right. So if any of the non-eaters are hungry, help yourselves. Or it just would need to, of course, pay for your lunch. Well, this is exciting. Let me see where I am on my list so I don't skip something. Just again, a reminder, based on lunches, we encourage and thank you for having RSVP'd by Wednesday at noon if you plan to be an eater, and then Friday for non-eaters. We are that time of year already, so we're wrapping up Rotary year 2020-2021. You'll be receiving an email today or this weekend from Karen Ferris. We're getting ready to look at club members and grant some club awards, which will happen at the awards and installation the end of June, that date is June 25th. So she's looking for nominations from you, and you'll have an email from her. And if you can think of some members that you have observed over the course of the year that have gone above and beyond Philip, please send those nominations to Karen. Reply to that email. Next up, we've got the video. This is really cool. We have been participating all year long in a district competition, and it's called the rebranding. And then they set a competition called the Olympic Games. And there were 6 things that we needed to complete each month. And this is the 6th and final one. For example, the first thing, they made sure all of the clubs had the new RI logo, which is this rotary with the wheel, which is now a solid wheel. It used to be kind of variegated. It changed all of our banners and all flags, everything looks like that now. Another month, we created a brochure for new members, and it looks like this. These are available from Lori. If you want one, if there's a new member in the room, we encourage you to pick one up. It's 2-sided. It's got our website, our phone number, Rotary Club of Park Cities, People of Action. And then the 6th and final was to create a 60 to 90 second video and also make that available on our website, send it out to members who are guests who have come to the meetings. So this is the premiere. Mark created this. We have gone back and pulled some pictures from the past and some pictures from the present. So take a look. I think we can do it one more time. How about that? I tell you what, does that make you proud or what? It's so cool. And for the guests in the audience, we have well over 20 volunteer opportunities during the course of the year. Some are external in the community, some are internal to the club. So I would have to say that we have been making a difference. Wouldn't you agree? Well, let's talk about some upcoming events, and then we'll get to our speaker of the day. We've got this afternoon, we'll be back at Bonton Farms from 3 to 5 doing the meal packing for the food kits. Today's meal, the ingredients will be for a heart-healthy recipe that Stan Wright submitted for spaghetti and meatballs. So actually turkey balls, spaghetti and turkey balls. Friday on April 23rd and 24th, which is this coming Friday, past President Richard Stanford will be conducting the meeting, and I will be in attendance at the district conference, along with Happy and Tracy and a few others. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll get an opportunity to show the video and a few other things. Tuesday then is a program committee meeting. It'll be on Zoom, Tuesday, April 27th. As you know, you are all members of the program committee. That comes with the job. And so either reply to Happy if you've got some speaker ideas. She's getting ready to start filling those slots for July through December. Saturday is the May 8th, is North Texas Food Bank Packing Day. That you saw pictures of that. We're ready to get back out there. Stan's coordinating that. It'll be in the morning. And then finally, I mentioned earlier, we'll have our awards and installation banquet at noon on Friday, June 25th. It will be at the Park Cities Club. And that's going to be a wonderful event. So you're starting to put things on your calendar that have the word Rotary next to them. Looking forward to that. Well, with that, that's all I have. I'd like Patsy to come up and introduce our guest today, and we'll...
Yes, today I want to introduce Heather Baker with the Family Place, and she brought with her a co-worker, Margot Alifi. I got it right, okay. And they're going to talk, the topic is Family Place's impact on the community. Heather has worked for almost 7 years at the Family Place. She is currently serving as the Assistant Director of Development. She's a graduate of Texas A&M University. We have a few in here. And the University of Texas at San Antonio. I don't know if that does hook 'em horns, does it? Is that just Austin? Yeah, Roadrunners. Okay. She is passionate about serving and additionally is a member of the Junior League of Dallas and the American Cancer Society's Cattle Barons Ball. She manages the Family Place's annual Texas Trailblazer Awards and Partners Auxiliary. She previously has worked at the Muscular Dystrophy Association and the North Texas Food Bank, which we all know very well. So welcome. We're glad to have you, Heather.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having us today. Really appreciate it and love getting to see all that you're doing in the community, and appreciate the support that you've given the Family Place over the years. And so I'm excited to be here and share what we are doing in the community and what we do here at the Family Place. So I've been given a clicker, so hopefully I can manage this correctly. So I had a video, but not sure the video is going to play. Can you try clicking it, or would that be me? Okay. No worries. Yeah, not a problem. So we'll just start, we'll move past that. Not a big deal. I'm hitting the button and nothing is happening. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna have to restart the program. Give me just a second.
Way to go. Great start.
You can dance and sing.
Well, I don't know that I'm quite that talented.
Let me try and launch it again real quick.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to start talking and then we can catch up on the slides. So, the Family Place has been in the community for over 40 years, and hopefully you all are familiar with the Family Place and what we do. We work directly with victims of domestic violence, and work to provide them safety, counseling, job skill training, getting them back into the community, so that they can be productive, members of society and not fall back into the cycle of domestic violence. And not only do we work with those people that have been affected by domestic violence, but we also work with batterers. At the Family Place, we feel strongly about doing a full continuum of service, and we feel passionate that if we're only helping the victim and also not providing services to the batterer, they will find someone else to unfortunately batter. And so we're working hard to rehabilitate those individuals as well. So, should I be good again? Okay, let's try again. Here we go. Perfect. So our mission at the Family Place is to empower victims of family violence by providing safe housing, counseling, and skills that create independence, while building community engagement and working towards social change to stop family violence. So every 15 seconds in the United States, a woman is beaten. And every day, 3 women are killed by domestic violence in the United States, which is a staggering statistic. And so we work here in Dallas at the Family Place to help prevent that. And just for some perspective, those were pre-COVID statistics. And we are still getting feedback on how COVID really affected people affected by domestic violence. Especially here in Dallas County, we had a stay-at-home order for a while. And so imagine being stuck at home with someone who's abusing you. That's not a safe situation. A little information that I have on that is that UT Dallas did a study during the shelter at home order, which was last March through April, and they saw a 12.5% increase in domestic violence incidents in Dallas County while that stay-at-home order was in effect. So we definitely saw that the stay-at-home order was unfortunately not a great situation for the clients that we serve. So family violence is what we talk about a lot at the Family Place, and it's an act by a member of a family or household against another member. So at the Family Place, we serve not only intimate partner family violence, but also like if a son was abusing a mother or a grandmother, if there was violence in the home, period. And so we work at the Family Place to serve all types of family violence that might affect someone in the community. So these are some statistics specific to Texas. So 1 in 4 women in Texas and 1 in 7 men in Texas have been victims of family violence. And this, or I'm sorry, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men in the US, and then 1 in 3 in Texas. So the statistic for Texas is actually higher than the national average. And so we work hard to provide services to women in the state and hopefully get them in a safe situation. And I went too far. Or not. There we go. Who does family violence involve? It involves victims and batterers. So it's a twofold problem. We have victims who obviously need services. They need counseling. They need safe housing. Some women, depending on the situation that they were in, may not have a bank account. Maybe that's how their abuser controlled them. So we're helping them set up bank accounts. We're helping them provide them with access to education, to doctor's appointments. It's crazy how many women we see that come into our care who are pregnant, maybe 7 months pregnant, and haven't received any prenatal care because their husband was like, or partner or abuser was like, I don't want you to go to the doctor. They may see a bruise. And so not allowing them to go to the doctor was a form of control and abuse that's been used. And victims, it can be anyone. We see an array of people that come into our care. We see people in, affluent neighborhoods. We see people in low-income neighborhoods. And I think the same can be said for batters. There's no typical batter. It unfortunately is something that affects so many communities. So some people ask, why do they stay? Why would someone who's being abused stay in that situation? And I think there's a lot of reasons. Children, maybe you have children and you don't feel safe or you don't want to leave your kids. Fear, denial, threats of murder, lack of financial resources. Maybe your abuser has control of all the financial resources. So if you left, you wouldn't be able to have any money or any way to support yourself. Religious beliefs, immigration issues. So there's a myriad of reasons for why people stay and feel like it's not safe to leave, unfortunately. And so briefly, just want to talk about if you found yourself talking to someone or have someone in your life that might be in that situation, what are ways that you can help? First, recognizing what that might look like. So unexplained injuries, they're missing events, you feel like they're being controlled by their partner, drastic changes in habits or behavior. And so the best thing that we suggest first is just offering help. Let them know you care. Say you offer to help at any time. Call me whenever. I'm happy to answer the phone. Do whatever you need. Listen without judging, and ultimately providing them with our hotline number, which is listed up here. It's a 24-hour hotline number, and we are able to take calls, and either, if it's a life-threatening situation, get you into our emergency shelter immediately, or if it's just we need to start working on a plan, or you want to start with our offsite counseling, we can get you set up doing that. So we really work to meet clients where they're at and what they are, most comfortable at that point. Some tips on what not to do. Tell them, if you don't leave, I'm not going to support you anymore. Unfortunately, a lot of the women that we have on our care sometimes will come to our emergency shelter and leave and come back maybe 1, 2, 3, 5 times. And so just really being supportive of where they're at. And helping provide them with tools to keep them safe. Yes. So next, I'm going to talk about our services. So this is a continuation of all of the services that we offer at the Family Place, and I'm going to talk briefly about all of them. So here we go. So our first sort of access to clients is typically our emergency shelter. Of the about 300 beds in Dallas County, we have 177 beds. So we have a large majority of the beds that are provided here in Dallas. We have 3 emergency shelters total, 2 that serve women and children, and 1 that serves men and children. And that shelter is actually the first in the nation to serve men and children affected by domestic violence. And we opened that in 2017. And has been a great resource for men in the community. We also have Transitional Housing, which is a program that clients can apply to after they get out of emergency shelter. They move out of emergency shelter, which is really, we're providing every meal for you. We're really hand holding you. And our transitional housing program is apartments on site where women have their own kitchens and are able to provide their own meals for their families. If they're in that program, there are some requirements. You need to have a job, things like that. And so that is a great stepping stone for the clients that we serve between emergency shelter and being 100% on their own. And so that program, clients are able to stay in that for up to 18 months. And we're really helping them get back on their feet and set up for success when they're leaving our care. And then, like I mentioned before, our 24-hour crisis hotline. We answer that 24 hours a day, as it says. And we help people either get into emergency shelter care if that is needed, or we're helping them with safety plans. Some women we're talking to and they're not ready to leave, but we're saying when you're ready to leave, these are some things you should grab or have already organized, like birth certificates, shot records, social security numbers, helping them be equipped to be really successful when they do make that decision to leave an abusive situation. So on site at our largest shelter, Sally's House, we have a children's education center, which is an accredited program, K through 12. K through second grade, and then after school for second through 12. But we are able to allow kids K through second to stay on site at Sally's House and go to school. So going to school once you've left an abusive situation may not be safe. Maybe the abuser knows where what school your child is at, and could try to show up to that school and try to take them. And so we are able to provide K through second education on site at Sally's House, which has been really great for moms and kiddos in terms of safety and comfort. Also, we have 2 medical clinics and 1 dental clinic. So clients are able to get care and be seen by doctors on site at 2 of our 3 shelters. And we work with UT Southwestern and Parkland, a lot of the hospitals in the area, to help provide on-site care, which has been a real game changer. Like I said earlier, some people come to us not seeing a doctor for months or years, or we're getting a pregnant mom in who hasn't had any prenatal care, and we're trying to get them caught up to where they need to be. So that has been really awesome. Additionally, Paige Flink, our fearless leader, talked to clients, and one of their feedback was, just like I don't want to leave an abusive situation and not have my kids with me, for some people, they didn't want to leave their pets. And it was because abusers typically, if they're going to hurt you, they're going to hurt your pet, or they're going to hurt something that's important to you. So in 2017, when we opened our newest facility, we added an animal shelter. So we have cats and dogs on site, so they are able to come with their moms, which has been great for clients in terms of pet therapy or just being around their pets. And additionally, staff has enjoyed getting to have pets around, so that's been really nice. But we just recently had a mom on site, and she had one of her dogs with her and was telling us that she actually had 2, but her abuser had already killed her other dog. So it's just been such a blessing and such a resource. We work with SPCA to help get dogs spayed and neutered, all back up to date on their shots. And so that program has been really helpful and impactful as well. So like I mentioned, some people may not be ready to leave and go into an emergency shelter setting. They may feel more comfortable starting in counseling. And so we do have community-based counseling. Last March, we reopened our South Dallas Counseling Center, which is in the Redbird area. And that has been super great to have another location in that area to serve clients and help affect the community. With COVID, just like everyone else, we've had to pivot. So some of our counseling did move to telehealth, which has been really a nice feature, especially for some of our working moms who maybe are taking the bus to come see us. So that's been another opportunity for people to receive counseling in a little bit more of an accessible way. And so we've done some telehealth, some in person, and we're still sort of in flux. We're doing a little bit of both to help serve clients and meet them where they're at. Additionally, we have a Dignity at Work program. We help clients get GEDs. Also, we work a lot with companies, and so they may say, hey, we'd love to have clients, or we maybe have an entry-level position, but our clients are, in order for an applicant to apply, they may need this specific training. And so we work hard at the Family Place to help financially support and provide those trainings so that clients are all set up, all ready to go, and, you know, able to do these specialized jobs. Let's see. Okay. So we also have a resale shop. Hopefully some people in the room have been to shop at our resale shop, but you can also drop off donations. We're actually having a donation drop off next Saturday, April 23rd, at Highland Park Village from 8 to 10 a.m. So if you have items that you would like to donate, we will have a box truck there. Our resale shop will pick it up, and we sort through everything, and then those donations either go directly to clients. So clients get vouchers and can come in and shop. Maybe they need a suit for work, or when they left, they only took a trash bag worth of stuff, so they still need clothing or things like that. So they're able to shop at the store. But additionally, the public is open and welcome to come in the store, and all the proceeds that are raised from that location go back into the services that we provide for clients. So it's a great way to additionally support the Family Place and what we're doing in the community. We also provide legal services. We have a full-time attorney and paralegal on staff, and so they work to help clients with protective orders, custody, child support, all the things that come with being, unfortunately, in an abusive situation like this, the things that you need help with. So we have a great team that helps with that. Additionally, we have B Project, which is our sort of prevention program. So we have counselors that go into high schools to talk to students about safe dating practices, what is an appropriate behavior for a boyfriend and what is not. You know, I feel like, especially now in the technological age, it's like, it's not really appropriate for a boyfriend to be like, I need to have access to the passcode on your phone and I need to be able to read everything. Like, that maybe is a red flag, and maybe we need to take a step back and think about that relationship. So we talk to 6,000 students a year. And so that program has been really great. And our counselors have seen through COVID, we've been able to do more stuff with middle school and high school parents with their kids, which has been really great. Parents have had great questions, and so we've been able to transition and also find new ways to reach out to people through that. Like I mentioned, we at the Family Place talk a lot about fixing the whole continuum of issues in regards to domestic violence. And the Batter Intervention and Prevention Program is the program that specifically focuses on batters. So that is the only program in our services that is a fee-based program, and it's on a sliding scale based on, you know, what people can afford, but there is a fee to participate. This is, I would say, 95% of the time a court-ordered program. So we do work with the Dallas court system. But some people do find us and sign up and feel like this would be a helpful program for them. So we work with batters to go through a program, learn about how to better manage their anger management, what's appropriate behavior. We feel like we see a lot of people in this program who talk about abuse that they've suffered in their own life. So we do feel like a lot of the batters that we see either saw that in their own home or abused themselves. And obviously that is not a justifiable reason for why they do that, but it's just helping them find better tools with how to deal with those feelings and emotions and, you know, hard stuff that comes up in life. There's just more constructive ways to deal with it. We also have Faith and Liberty's Place. If you've been in Dallas, you likely remember Faith and Liberty Battaglia, who were murdered by their father while he was on the phone with their mother on Christmas Eve. And so because of that unfortunate situation, we created a child's visitation center, which wasn't in Dallas County prior to that, which is kind of crazy. But we do safe child visitation and also child swapping for like parents that, you know, the custodial parent is dropping off the child. they're walking through a room, then the non-custodial parent is on the other side. We have it like down to a science. We have security on site. And of all the programs that, we were able to pivot a lot of programs during COVID, and that just wasn't one of them. And so I always like to give a big kudos to the staff and counselors that work specifically there, because if they had said, we're not coming in, parents wouldn't have seen kids. And so they really stepped up in a big way to be on site and still make that service available for parents who needed to be able to safely see kiddos and have those exchanges happen in a really positive way. So that is it's a really special program that we are glad we have, unfortunately, but glad that we have. Does anyone have questions? I know that was a lot of information. Love questions.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for being here today.
Sure.
I know it's easy. We have 8 and 11-year-olds. We're around a lot of kids in a lot of situations. I know it's sometimes easy to kind of question, well, is it, and just kind of brush off and go on. But outside of doing the right thing, we really have a legal obligation to report that if we see something suspicious. Is that correct? Or
I think a legal obligation is more like, if you're like a teacher or counselor, I feel like if you felt like it was an unsafe situation and like you wanted to start providing documentation, like you felt like there could be a larger issue down the road, I always think it's a great idea to just maybe file a police report or something like that to just begin documenting. Unfortunately, protective orders, while great, like in real life, don't do a ton. I mean, like you can tell someone to stay away, but like until someone does something, you're not going to get them arrested. Like you can say, I have a bad feeling and like, I don't think you should be doing that. But like legally, the police department can't do anything until an incident has occurred. So I think if you really felt like it was at a point where you needed to have documentation, I think it's always great to just start documenting things if you felt like you were in that type of situation.
I have one here.
So is the family place just in Dallas? Do y'all have other locations? And how do you, if someone were being abused in Lubbock or Austin, how would they know what organization is available to help them?
Great question. So we are based here locally in Dallas, but we accept clients really from all over. So if a shelter in New York called and said, hey, we have a client and she really can't be in New York anymore, like it's not safe, they could find her, would you be willing to take her in Dallas? And we would say yes. So we do that with shelters all over the country. And I would say if you have a friend or someone who isn't in the Dallas area and felt like they needed services, call the hotline and say, hey, we're not based here in Dallas, but could you help me get a number or someone in my area that could help provide services for me? And we are working, one of Paige's great projects is we're doing a live bed count. We're working on a live bed count program. So in Dallas, we've started working with shelters and we're putting barcodes on beds. And so literally counselors can go in and scan. So that means if someone calls my hotline or our hotline, because every shelter right now has different hotline numbers. So they could call the family places hotline and say, hey, I need shelter. Can you get me in? And we may be full. But with the live bed count, we could look on this Google Doc essentially and say, okay, we're full, but we know Genesis has 2 beds. Let me call them and get you in. And so we're hoping to provide that. Our dream would for that to become a national program. So we could say, hey, we don't have a bed, but I know this other shelter in Lubbock does, or one town over has a bed, helping is more quickly for clients. Because for a lot of people, they get one phone call. They may only have the courage to make one phone call. They may only have time to make one phone call. So really working to provide the most accurate and up-to-date service in that moment for people. Great question.
Thank you for what you do. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
What about the children who might be innocent bystanders or victims of domestic violence? What do you do in terms of service, counseling them? Because I'm sure domestic violence is very traumatic psychologically to them.
Yeah. So all of our counseling services are also provided for children. So we do children's counseling, children's group counseling. We have play therapy rooms where we can do counseling with children. And additionally, And unfortunately, we also have an incest recovery program at the family place. So if that was something that a child had experienced, we have counselors on hand who are well equipped to deal with those types of issues as well. So we have a lot of services for kiddos. We work hard to make sure that not only mom is getting better, but kids are getting better. And sometimes we have moms who say, you know what, I feel good. I don't need counseling anymore, but kids still feel like they do. And we continue to provide those services as long as they feel like that is something that is beneficial to them.
A couple of things. First, did you know that Paige Flink's dad was a member of this Rotary Club?
I did. Yes.
Isn't that a fun thing?
It is.
For those that didn't know that, it's a great deal. So listen, during what we call Snowvid 21, not to be confused with COVID-19, I understand that your shelter did suffer
Great
some
question.
damage.
Yes.
And so tell me, how did Prince Harry and Meghan find you guys to give you some money?
Well, unfortunately, Prince Harry and Meghan found Genesis, but we still, I do have to say, we got a lot of support and generosity from the community, and I'd love to touch on that briefly. Thank you for bringing that up. So COVID was really hard for everyone, and so we obviously got hit hard. And then on top of that, Snowmageddon, whatever people want to call it, hit us. And so our largest shelter, with 110 beds in South Dallas, unfortunately, the pipes burst. And so we had to quickly move out clients. We moved them to a shelter off-site and had them there for, maybe 3 days, and then the pipes burst there. So we moved them again. They thankfully are at a permanent location, a hotel offsite, and they are staying there until we get back into our shelter. Unfortunately, I've been out at the Sally's House Safe Campus giving tours over the last few weeks, and the damage is extensive. We are still working with insurance to figure out what exactly that's going to look like, which is a fun battle on a 60,000 square foot building. So a lot to go through there. And additionally, we're looking at probably not getting back in till June or July. Just because of the extensive damage. Some apartments are down to the studs. And so we are really having to, unfortunately, kind of start from square one in terms of the items in the shelter. And then we had a lot of storage out there, which unfortunately got damaged as well. So replacing diapers, school uniforms, things like that we had on site to service clients. So that is an ongoing process. But I do want to say we had a lot of generosity from our local community and the community across the country. I think we looked, and by the end of it, we had a donation from all 50 states. So someone who just randomly saw our story through the news. Paige got great coverage on CNN and Huffington Post. She was on some big news channels. And so people were extremely generous and thoughtful to think of us. Whether it was $5, we had a woman call us and say, hey, I got my stimulus check and I want to donate it all to you. And so we just had a lot of generosity, but it is going to be a long road back to 100%. But we're trying to be positive, and the sort of silver lining is there's never been a time in the last 20 years where that facility has been completely empty, and we can do really great renovations. And so we're trying to take advantage of that and put in some really great additions and improvements for the clients.
All right. Jeff Brady gets the last question.
Okay.
Last, it's going to be okay. Well, I'm on the spot. Thanks again for being here. It's great information, and you guys, a tremendous amount of good work. We've also heard a lot about
Yes.
it's never enough to do the good work that you do.
For sure.
Tell us how you guys work in partnership sometimes with Genesis so that you don't overlap and duplicate services.
Definitely.
Or maybe that's it. I don't know.
Definitely. So like I said, there's about 300 beds in the Dallas area that serve victims of domestic violence. And Genesis is definitely a big partner and helper in terms of coming alongside of us and providing those services as well. And so we work closely with them. Like I was saying on the hotline phone calls, if someone says, hey, I need help, I need to get out now, and we don't have a bed, sometimes we call them and ask them to step in and help see if they have a bed or a facility. we always work together on donations and things like that. They're part of the bed count that I spoke about earlier. So, ultimately we may all do it a little differently, but we're all working towards the same cause. And so they do great work at Genesis. And so we're excited to continue to partner with them and work with them on hopefully ending this issue in our world and this community. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. Heather, we are going to be donating a book to a local elementary school in honor of your taking the time to speak to us today. Thank you. I'm also very proud to tell you that our own RCPC Foundation has made a donation recently. It's about $3,000. So, yeah, we are part of the giving community that appreciates what you do. We have next week, the speaker is going to be Heather Baker. She was here today. It's going to be, she's coming back. It's going to be Carla Nivens. She's the Associate Director at Highland Park United Methodist Church. She'll be here to talk to us about racial justice and inequality, certainly a topic that is very timely. Looking forward to that. Richard Stanford will be not only presiding over the meeting, but he is the chair of the day. So 2 hats. Thank you, Richard. At this point, let's stand up and do the 4-way test. It's going to be presented today by a new member, Kristin Tesmer.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Let's say it together. Is it the truth? I'm sorry. I start at the beginning. Okay, the very beginning, the Rotary, the 4-way test of the things we say, say, and do. See how new I am? First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Welcome to the club. We appreciate you. All right, I'm going to ring this bell. We're a little bit early, so you have time to visit. The meeting is adjourned.